there's so much pressure on everybody, irrespective of gender, to perform more, to be busier, to do more things. That is the exact antithesis of what we need if we're going to relax and make time for ourselves to enjoy our own sexual energy and sexual energy with others, right? So we do kind of need to carve out time for ourselves and say, you know, I'm committed to going to the gym, I'm committed to eating healthily, I'm committed to my sexual practice, you know, cultivating my sexual energy, because like anything, the more you practice it, the more you energize it, the stronger it's going to get. You know, if you don't go to the gym, any muscles that you have are going to wither away pretty quickly, right? So it's not exactly the same with sexual energy, but if you don't keep it flowing, if you don't keep cultivating it, it gets kind of stagnant. And that's really not good.
I guess that's why in long relationships, people start having less and less sex.
Well, people in long-term relationships stop having sex because they meet the boundaries of their vulnerabilities and their insecurities.
Interesting.
Because sex is so intimate, it's going to show all of your capacity and potential, but also all of your vulnerability. And so what typically happens is when we meet a vulnerability, we go, oh, that was uncomfortable, I'm not going there again. And we pull back. So, you know, when we first meet a new sexual partner, we do all our best moves that we feel most confident about, right? And then at some point that repertoire kind of becomes boring and repetitive, because even if they're really great moves, you know, we know the move, we know the result, it becomes a bit doing it by rote, and that's not interesting. So maybe you want to experiment with some different things. But when you experiment, you take risk. And the risk is risk of rejection. Like, oh, how about we do this? Oh no, I'm not into that. Oh yeah, can you not do that? I don't like that thing, right? And what happens long term over relationships is that so many things get crossed off the menu that all we're left with is, you know, a little trickle of nothing really. There's not much. The way to change that is to face into that vulnerability and say, you know, well, I'd really like to try this thing, but I feel a bit scared or a bit insecure, or I'm not sure if I'd really like this different kind of experience. But to experiment, to really stay in connection with your partner when you're feeling that vulnerability. People say, oh yeah, well, you know, after 2 years, it's natural that sex loses its excitement with the same person. It's not true. It's just that you need to keep showing up, being real with what's happening. And this is, I think, a really important message that I'd like to say is one of the most important things we need to do to have great sex is to have great communication. So if you're not talking about stuff, then you're probably, you know, it's a bit hit and miss if you're going to have great sex. So I love that you ladies are having these conversations and putting this out, because the more we can talk about this stuff, the more we can just be authentic about it and say, this is difficult for me, this is vulnerable for me, this is normal, this is okay. The healthier we're going to feel about it, the better our relationships are going to be, and the more fulfilled we're going to be sexually.